start. So I'll discuss to you the basics of research class kasi you will be doing your concept paper. So we have here stages of research process. The first stage is selecting the problem. So that is the reason why you are going to do your concept paper because from the concept paper that you will be submitting, dun tayo magsa-select ng problem that or the title that you're going to push through with your group mates. Okay? No, may exam pa rin tayo. May prelim, midterm, and final exam pa rin tayo, ha? Ingat. Sige. Then the next, may mga quizzes pa rin tayo sa research. Okay. And you expect a lot of essays. Sige, formulating the research title. That's the second step. Okay, so how do we formulate a research title? You have to take note of the following. It should not be long and should not be more than 20 words. I-count nyo talaga yung title ng research ninyo ha, if that is very long. It should not be more than 20 words. The ideal actually is not more than 15 words, but take note that function words are not counted. Therefore, yung mga the, of, with, hindi yun siya sinasali sa pag-count. So, kapag yung title ninyo is example, anthelmintic property of, yung bibilangin nyo lang is anthelmintic and property. Hindi kasali si of. Okay? So baka magproblema mo ba na niabot na siya og 20 plus pero sinali nyo pala yung mga function words. So do not include that in the counting. The major words only. Okay? Now, another thing, the research title should include the variables. And when I say variables, I am referring to independent and dependent variables. Now, how are we going to define them? When you say independent variables, these are the variables that we manipulate in the study. Okay? We manipulate in the study. That's the independent variable. I'll show you an example later. And then the dependent variable is also known as the outcome variable. That's the outcome that we are trying to achieve in our research study. Okay? Tapusin ko lang ito and I'll show you an example of a research title and we'll try to identify the independent and dependent variable kasi mas naiintindihan ito kung merong example. So another thing, it should give insight virtually on what the research is all about. If you're going to make your own title, sa title pa lang, dapat alam na ng readers nyo kung what is the topic of your study. Okay, what is your study is all about. Okay, and then the following words should not be part of your title. Example, a study of, an analysis of, or an investigation of. Kasi all research class are studies, they are analysis, or they are investigation. So diretso na tayo. Do not include these phrases or these words in your title. And at the same time, it is not important to include the date or the location of your study, the research local. You don't need to include that. You don't need to include the time or the date actually, kasi we have a section in your paper called scope and delimitation. And doon natin ilalagay yung mga information na yan. So we have, again, the example of a good research paper, the predictive efficacy of academic preparation. Let me just use radiologic technologies. Again, the predictive efficacy of academic preparation of radiologic technologists on the licensure board exam. So first, let us try to count kung how many words ito. Again, I told you do not include the function words. So I'll just count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So again, this is called an ideal research title, since it is not more than 15. Again, do not include the function words like this ones. Okay? Yung mga major words lang siya. Now, next is kailangan nasa title yung independent and dependent variable. Yung dependent variable, sabi ko kanina, is the outcome variable. Okay? This is the one being measured, okay, in the study. Okay? Or ito yung merong changes if ever you manipulate the other variable. So if we look at the title, the predictive efficacy of academic preparation of our RadTech students on the, take note of the keyword, on the licensure exam, licensure board exam. So as you can see, our dependent variable here is our licensure board exam. Ito yung outcome variable natin. Okay? Kapag nagto-talk tayo ng academic preparation, meron ba siyang ina-affect or meron ba siyang effect dito sa licensure board exam result? So outcome niya ito. Therefore, again, we call this the dependent variable. And then the independent variable is also known as the predictor variable of the study. Or again, that is what we manipulate in the study, or ito yung tinitingnan natin sa study. Okay? So since this is the outcome, ano yung mag-cause na ito yung outcome niya? So according sa title na ito, it's the academic performance, or not academic performance, academic preparation. So ito yung tinatawag na independent variable. So both of them should be seen in the title. Again, the ideal title should include both the independent and the dependent variables. Okay? Questions? Do you want to clarify something? Or let me give you another example. I cannot remember the titles of the study last year because I'm handling a lot of research groups, and sa kadaghan wala din ako kahinumdum. But yung pinakamataas na score sa yung sa mga graduate ninyo last June, yung mga nag-graduate, ang pinakamataas na score dun, ito yung study nila ni Labner. Title yun, medical myths and claims. Ano nga yun? Nakalimutan ko. Let me check. I cannot memorize it. Meron akong copy kasi ng study na ito. Ay, mali. Nasa Gmail pa siya. Open pa lang. Ito pala, medical fake news pala, not medical myths and claims. Sa pharma pala yung medical myths and claims na study. Ito yung research paper last time, medtech ito. Medical fake news and fear-mongering during COVID-19 pandemic, the impact on the vaccine confidence among the millennials. So, kung titingnan nyo, that's a study from the medtech department. Okay? So, kung titingnan natin ang independent variable and the dependent variable, para mas madali yung life ninyo, unahin yung identify yung dependent variable. What's the outcome? Ano yung mag-change sa study ninyo? Depende doon sa independent variable. So as you can see, This is it, the dependent variable. Impact on the vaccine confidence. So ano yung magkakaroon ng impact? It's the medical fake news and fear-mongering during the COVID-19. So itong sa taas, that will be the independent variable. So again, when you're going to formulate your own research title, you have to identify both the independent and the dependent variables and include them in the title. Okay? Questions or clarifications? Wala. Sige. Okay. So take note of this. You're going to make your sa title page nyo na ito gawin, ha, sa title page. If your title is like long and it's more than one line, you have to write the title in bold font and you have to arrange them in an inverted pyramid. Okay? Inverted pyramid siya if you have more than one line. So again, if this is your title, kailangan pagkasulat naka-bold yan and naka-inverted pyramid. Okay, putulin nyo yung title nyo para magmukha siyang inverted pyramid. That's how we write our title sa ating title page. Okay? Next, wait lang, balik ako. Later na lang pala. Now, research documentation. We have two general types of research documentation. We have the APA format. APA means American Psychological Association, and the MLA format, or the Modern Language Association. But in our institution, sa school, we are following the APA format. So, I'll be teaching you the APA format para when you make your research, naka-follow na kayo agad. Hindi na siya mapupuna ng mga panelists. Okay? Now, since you are going to conduct research, especially in the concept paper, no, you have the background of the study. I am asking you to read a lot of references and include them in the background of the study. To help you do that, you can use or you can make a working bibliography. So when you say working bibliography, it's a detailed list of all the references that you have read that are relevant to your own study. Okay, so what are the purposes of making a working bibliography? You can keep track of what you have read already, the mga relevant sa study ninyo, and what you have examined already. And you can always go back to them if you need them again, since you have a documentation. You have details about the references, kung saan nyo siya kinuha. If it's a book, you can keep track what title of the book yung binasa ninyo, or kung sa internet, then you can always go back to the website kung saan nyo siya nabasa. Okay, so that is called again a working bibliography. So what are the contents? If you're going to read references, what are the contents that you need to take note? So syempre, we have the title of the article, the title of a study, if it is a study. And then you have to take note also of the author or the authors if marami sila, since we also have the so-called reference section or bibliography in your own research paper, wherein you really have to give credit where credit is due. So since those things are not your ideas, you have to clearly cite who are the authors of these references. And then you have to take note also of the date of the publication of that certain reference. And for online na mga references, it is important to take note also of the date of retrieval, kasi our problem with online references minsan nawawala sila, minsan may binabago. So you have to really take note when did you retrieve that certain reference. And then you also have to properly document what page number yung binasa ninyo for a certain reference if it is a printed material. And syempre the URLs if it is an online reference. So yun yung mga kailangan yung i-take note. Ayun yung mag-move. Okay. And then, pinakita ko sa inyo kanina yung example ng concept paper in the background section. And as you can see, meron doong mga parenthetical citation. I don't know if nasali ito sa English class ninyo, but this one, the parenthetical citation, is very important in research. Kasi ito yung sinasabi ko na we have to give credit where credit is due. Now, if you are going to take out ideas from other people, you need to paraphrase their ideas, but at the same time, you have to properly cite them in order for us not to be called a plagiarist or hindi tayo ma-accuse ng plagiarism. Okay? So, when you say parenthetical citation, it's a brief reference after a statement wherein you enclose it in an open and closed parenthesis. Okay? So, ano to siya? Ito yung parang credit natin sa kanila na idea nila ito. But iba pa yung iba pa yung bibliography natin sa paper. Iba din itong parenthetical citation. But all the authors that you include in the parenthetical citation should be included in the bibliography. Now, what do you need to include in the parenthetical citation? Number one, the last name, the surname of the author, and at the same time, the year of the publication. Yan lang talaga yung ilalagay natin sa parenthetical citation. And saan natin siya ilalagay? It has to appear at the end of the sentence between the last word and a period. Kasi yan yung mostly mali ng estudyante. Minsan nalalagay nila si parenthetical citation after the period. Take note, it's between the last word of that sentence and the period ha. Walay masaag na parenthetical citation. Okay? So how are we going to do a parenthetical citation? We can do parenthetical citation if we are citing a significant paraphrased idea. Again, copy-pasting is not allowed in research kasi that is a form of plagiarism. Even if nag-cite ka ng author, pag hindi mo yan pinaraphrase, that is still plagiarism class. So do not forget to paraphrase. Okay? Now again, if you take out an idea coming from a certain reference, you have to properly cite them. What do we need to include? Again, the author's name. Actually, this should be the surname only and the year of the publication. And we have to enclose that in an open and closed parenthesis. Written in the last, after the last word of the sentence, in between the last word and the period. Ayaw mag-move ng slide ko. What's happening? It's 12 o'clock. I only have 30 minutes to finish everything. So this one is an example of a paraphrased idea. So paraphrased idea na yan siya ha, yung nauna dyan. And that's how you write a parenthetical citation. This is just an example for you to follow. So ito, Pollitt and Beck. These are the authors. We have two authors here for this reference. So both of them should be placed here, okay? And then comma, and then the year of the publication. So do not forget the open and close parenthesis. So kaya siya tinawag na parenthetical citation kasi nga nilagay natin siya inside the open and close parenthesis. Okay? Questions? You may ask questions. You can unmute your microphone and ask me if ever you want to clarify something. Or if you cannot do that, you may send your questions sa chat box. And we'll try to answer that. Okay? Next, when the author is cited in the text, how are we going to do the parenthetical citation? We just need the year of the publication. What do I mean when the author is cited in the text? Example, this one, that the author of the reference is Paulit. Yun yung surname niya. Anong nagkaiba dito? Sinali siya sa paragraph. Okay, like this one. Paulit asserted that nursing research, etc. So again, sinali yung apelyido ni author sa paragraph. So when doing the parenthetical citation, you only need to place the year of the publication in the open and closed parentheses. Okay? Hindi na natin, syempre magduduplicate na kasi kapag nilagay pa natin ang last name ni author inside the open and closed parentheses when in fact nasali na siya doon sa paragraph mismo. Okay? And then, citing a quotation without the author's name in the text. So like this one. Actually, parehas lang ito nung sa first example. Ito kasi, hindi sinali sa paragraph yung name ni author. So we have to include that also in the open and closed parentheses, but doon na siya ilalagay sa end part. Okay? If it is class A printed material, you may also include the page number. Okay? For printed materials only like books. But syempre, kung website yon, no need. Wala naman masyadong page number sa website. Okay? Now, how about citing 2 or more authors? So please take note, class, that if you have two to three authors, you have to name all of them, meaning you have to include all their surnames in the open and closed parentheses or the parenthetical citation. But if it is 4 or more authors, that's the time we use the abbreviation et al. Okay? Pag sumobra na 4 or sobra pa, that's the time we use the et al. Et al means and others. Okay? You just have to include the principal author, the major author for that certain reference, and then the rest will be et al. Okay? So just like this one. Ito, ano ito? In-text citation ha, kasi sinali kasi sa paragraph yung surname ni author. But since marami sila, we have Celtis et al. And then again, 1981 sa loob ng parenthetical citation. Pero pag hindi sinali, class, sa end yan ha, ilalagay. Pero ganun pa rin. Kasali si surname ni author sa open and close parentheses. Bali, magiging ganito na siya. Example, meron ka dyang idea, ganyan, and then end na ng idea mo. So, magiging ganito na siya. Celtis et al. And then, 1981. Period. Okay? Pag nasa end siya ng text. Okay? By the way, yung mga references na gagamitin ninyo, ang i-accept lang natin ay 10 years backward. Anong taon na ngayon? 2022. So, yung mga references na pwedeng tanggapin for your research is from 2012 to 2022 only. Beyond that, medyo magko-question na tayo, especially during the defense. Kung maghahanap kayo ng references, baka yung references ninyo is year 2000 pa o kaya kagaya nito na 1981 pa. Medyo mahirap na yon tanggapin. Okay? Kasi remember, nagbabago. Mayroong mga changes as time goes by. So, yung ina-accept natin is yung latest. Okay? Now, citing authors with the same surnames. So, paano, for example, if magkapatid yung author ng isang libro, how are we going to cite them? So, we have to do this. This is the time that we are going to include their initials. Okay? Sasalin na natin yung kanilang initials. So like this one, LP Calmorin and MA Calmorin, pareha sila ng surname, class. Just include the initials. Okay? Next, ito yung problema ng maraming estudyante during research. May mga references na walang author. So, paano tayo magsasite nito? Okay? Paano natin isa-cite yung references na walang author? We can do identification of the book by underlining its title and by enclosing the article with quotation marks. So just like this one. This is the title of the book. For example, wala kayong mahanap talaga na author. Title na lang ng libro. I-underline siya, comma, and then this is the title of the article. Lalagay natin siya inside the open and close parenthesis. Okay? So for example, it is a website. Meron namang pangalan ang website, di ba? So yan yung ilalagay nyo here. I-underline and then comma. And then itong open and close parenthesis, ito pa rin yung title of the article. Okay? So yun yung gagawin kapag wala kayong mahanap na author. And then citing the corporate author. So for example, it's an organization. You cannot really see the name of the specific author. Nasa ano siya? Nasa website siya ng certain organization or agency. So how are we going to do the parenthetical citation? You just write the name of the agency, pwede ngang abbreviation lang, and the year of the publication. So for example, galing ito sa student handbook. And if you're going to read the student handbook, you cannot identify the specific author. Pero it's a handbook ng doctors. So magiging doctors yung parang isa-cite natin. So kaya nakalagay dyan, GSDMSFI 2003. Okay? Pwede din yung sa mga agencies, government agencies na website like DOH or FDA, yan yung ilalagay natin dyan inside the parenthetical citation. For example, DOH, 2022. Okay? That's for the agencies. And there are times that we do citation of secondary sources. Kasi meron tayong like nababasang studies class na nagsasite lang din sila. Merong mga certain na nilalagay nila doon na galing din sa ibang author. So bali magiging secondary source na siya. So anong mangyayari niyan sa citation? You have to include the whole name of the original author. Okay? Itong 1989, dyan na example is the original author and then ilalagay nyo lang as cited in. Ito yung binabasa nyo currently, for example. Ito yung current na binabasa nyo and itong current study na binabasa nyo, nag-cite lang din siya. So both will be included in the parenthetical citation. Okay, so that's how you make your parenthetical citations. Do you have questions or clarifications with this one? So basignaan na po yung masaag na parenthetical citation ha. I hope masunod natin yung proper format. Okay? Sige. Walang gustong itanong. Naniud to na siguro ni sila. Ako na lang mangutana. Charot. Okay, wala. Sige. So, napalang ta sa first stage ha. Daghan pa kayo tag stages na agian class. Selecting the problem pa lang ta and formulating the research title. After that, we'll be conceptualizing the research design and method to be utilized. I'll also discuss that later. Pag alam na natin yung research design and the research method, if you are going to do a survey, then you have to make your questionnaire, okay? Or interview guide if you're going to do interview, or you have to validate your procedure if it is an experimental study. Okay, so you have to select appropriate sampling technique. Anyway, I'll be discussing everything as we go on with our lesson until even the data interpretation. I'll still include that in the discussion. I'll also teach you basic statistics if you're going to do a quantitative research. Until sa brushing up on the thesis format, ituturo ko ito sa inyo. Pero itong presentation, analysis, summarizing of the findings, drawing up conclusions and recommendations, this will be on the second semester. So I think hanggang dito lang tayo sa sampling technique. Okay? For the first semester. Okay? So let's discuss the research design. When you say research design, it's your plan. It's your plan on what are you going to do with your research. Okay? Kung ano yung pattern na susundin mo para makuha mo yung goal mo or yung objective mo. Okay? So ito ang research design is actually our basis in determining the research method na gagamitin natin sa study natin. So pag sinabing research method, it's the procedure itself na gagamitin natin in gathering our data. But that includes the interpretation also. So again, the research design is our plan or our pattern to properly identify the method. If we have identified the design, we can easily identify the procedure or the research method. Now, we have categories of research methods. I guess ito yung tanong kanina na gusto kong sagutin. The qualitative or the quantitative. Actually, may ikatatlo pa yan. Ang ikatatlo is called the mixed method. Meaning, we are going to do both the quali and the quanti. So, as you make your concept paper, pag-iisipan nyo na ngayon if you're going to do a quali or a quanti research. Okay? This will just be brief before tamaniud to na jud. Okay? So, we have the qualitative method. When you say quali research class, this is data-free. When I say data-free, it has no numerical data. Walang numbers dito. So during qualitative research class, you can just get words. Mga words lang lahat. Meaning, mag-i-interview kayo dito. And during interview, wala namang numbers doon. So, pag nag-interview kayo, mahuhulog yan siya dito. Data-free. And we are collecting data from non-probability samples. When you say non-probability samples, these are our respondents that are selected na walang equal chance ang all members of the population to be included in the study. Meaning ikaw lang ang pipili. Example, gusto kong interviewin itong tao na ito about a certain topic. So, non-probability sampling ngayon. Hindi mo binibigyan ng chance ang lahat ng member ng population to be selected in the study. And this type of study does not seek generalization. Hindi mo naman kasi ma-generalize, especially for example, opinions. Iba naman yung opinion ng isa sa opinion ng another person. So we cannot generalize here. We will just present to our readers what the participants say for a certain topic. Okay? So, hindi tayo nag-generalize, hindi tayo gumagawa ng inferences about a certain population. So, what are the examples, special kinds of qualitative research? We have the ethnographic research design. When you say ethnographic class, like we are studying a certain group of people, for example, a certain tribe. So mag-observe tayo doon sa kanila, pwede tayong mag-interview sa kanila about a certain topic. Okay? So qualitative research ito. Example, gusto natin malaman yung practices nila ng pag-diagnose ng sakit. So paano ba sila nagda-diagnose? So pwede tayong tumira doon sa community nila and observe kung paano ba. Or again, pwede natin silang interviewin. Paano ba sila nagda-diagnose ng certain condition. Okay? And then we have phenomenological study. Ito yung masyadong marami sa atin sa school when it comes to qualitative research, the phenomenological. The phenomenological study is about exploring the experiences of our participants. So kaya may mga studies tayo sa school na example, lived experiences of medical technologists, working in the hospital. So ano ba yung in general Santa City, ano ba yung experiences nila nung pag-work nila sa hospital? Maganda ba? Mahirap ba? So hindi natin ma-quantify yung experiences na yan. Kaya qualitative research siya. And then we have appreciative inquiry. Ito lang yung mga interview natin. Example sa isang organization, ano ba yung advantages or ano ba yung benefits or ano ba yung maganda in working in that certain organization. That's appreciative inquiry. And historical researches are also included here in the qualitative research design. Okay? Like, syempre, hindi mo din ma-quantify kung ano ang nangyari in the past. So you will just be doing interviews sa people who, example, has first-hand experience on that certain happening in the past. Okay? So again, yan lahat ang tinatawag na qualitative method. Yung isa naman, ay sorry, ay, ano nangyari? Nawala. Nawala, wait. Okay, the last one, this is the last slide class, is the quantitative methods. Ito yung mostly pinakamarami sa school currently, quanti na study. Sa quanti na study, from the name itself, quantitative, we have numerical data here. Okay, may numbers. May numbers tayong makukuha dito. Even when you are going to conduct survey class, merong numbers ka na makukuha dyan. So that is included in the quantitative method. So this time, we can aim for generalization. Pwede nating ma-generalize. Example, the people, the residents in general Santos City are favoring having the vaccine for COVID-19. And that is seen through numbers, through statistics. So makakapag-generalize tayo again. Okay? And usually, we use probability samples here. Meaning, when we are going to select the respondents of our study, we are giving them equal chance para makasali. Okay? Hindi kagaya nung sa qualitative na study na the researcher has the right, the prerogative who to interview. Okay, this time for quantitative methods or quantitative research design, we are giving all the members of the population the equal chance to be selected in the study. Okay, and we can give inferences of the characteristics of that certain population. So what are the examples of research designs under the quantitative methods? We have two, the descriptive and the experimental. Okay, so sa paggawa ninyo ng concept paper class, you may do an experimental study related to your course. So just like last year, they have a study again about anticoagulant ata yon, or and meron ding yung sabi ko kanina, they were looking for an alternative for Gemcia stain. Okay, so naghanap sila ng plant. I think it was blue ternate yung ginamit nila. And they really conducted their experiment here sa school, and then they have numerical data after the experimentation. Thus, under yan siya sa quantitative study. So sa quantitative study, the statistics is used, okay? You have to analyze your data using statistical tools. Under naman sa descriptive na method or descriptive na studies, syempre we are not conducting experiments, but you still have numerical data here. Ito yung nagsasurvey, merong questionnaire, and the objective of this type of research design is just to describe a certain population or i-describe natin yung phenomenon. Okay? So yun yung mga pwede ninyong gawing study, okay? Research design or research methods. Okay, I guess that's the end of my slide. Do you have questions or clarifications? Wala. Nagkasinabutan ng inyong research. But anyway, you can ask questions sa akin. Hintayin niyo lang talaga ang reply ko, ha? Kay, should be ako yung klase the whole day. None so far, nag-loading pa. Pero pag magsugod na niya sila buhat o concept paper, nag-load gihapon. Kung sa sulaton. Murag ingana, yun na ang mahitabo. So, so, okay. Ano ma-depress man. So, karon, what you need to do is to research first. What are the current problem, in example, in our community or in your chosen course? Related jud dapat siya sa inyong chosen field. Well, okay na nanawag. Wait lang, class.